every time you load up a Minecraft world without specifying a seed, you have a world type that is a 99.99999% chance of having never been experienced before. Today, I'm going to be loading 60 of these and showing you 60 seeds that have never been seen before and giving you a 1-minute review for each of them. This is my way of guaranteeing that you have some unique content on this channel that you've never seen before. We will find some terrible seeds, we will find some great ones, and somewhere along the way, we're going to find the greatest one. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's jump into the first one though. And it is quite hard to get a decent feel for a seed in 60 seconds, but let's try our very best anyway. This is a seed that spawns you into a tiny savanna biome. It's clearly meant to go further, but the ocean has cut it off, and I kind of like that. It's cute. This is a really great spawn area because it won't have rain, but it still will have mobs, and then you've got a giant forest which ruins any of the benefit, but it looks like it comes back again with a jungle a little bit further out than that. Then we've got a plains biome over here, we've got a desert a little bit further than that. It's not too terrible of a spawn. I mean, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but it looks like there's more savanna, so it's totally okay. It might be saved if it has maybe a close by stronghold. Okay, no, it does not. It might be saved as a good nearby mansion. Okay, that's not close at all. But if the Nether's amazing, I guess you could argue this is the best seed ever. And you know what? The Nether is also not so amazing. It's very stereotypical, and so this is a perfectly average seed. I'm going to say maybe slightly above, slightly below, but 5 out of 10 is a perfectly fine place to start for a seed reviewing series, right? So a reminder that what we mean when I say a blank seed is when you don't type in a world seed, Minecraft has to pick one for itself. There's a lot of seeds you can type in, including all the ones I find in this video, but by not typing one in, you get a purely random seed, like this second world, which, as you can see, is kind of similar to the first. You've got a biome by the ocean, and then there's a lot of ocean out there, which is nice if you want to go on a bit of an exploration. Looks like there is a desert or a desert island out there, but you're probably going to want to head inland, and oh, this is nice. It has 2 lava pools at spawn. You are going to be able to go to the Nether very, very quickly. So if you did go to the Nether, you would probably enjoy it, not very much. It looks like you spawn in a basalt delta, and even worse, it's got caves underneath it that you can potentially spawn into, and so is there any value to this? Oh no, this is a negative value Nether. So the one big strength of the seed is having lava so close to spawn. How does this even happen sometimes is my question. There's lava really close to the spawn, but you can't really take advantage of the lava close to spawn because the Nether is super, super slow. But if you want a slow, weird cave Nether, then this is the seed for you. This seed is easily a 2 out of 10. I don't know who this is for. Even the village nearest spawn is a pain to get to. So don't play it, probably. The third seed absolutely cannot be as bad as the first 2, or really the last one, and honestly, yeah, we got the nearby the ocean spawn. Clearly Minecraft likes that, but it's a warm ocean, so it's nice. You got a lot of desert over here, and then you've got a mesa, which is one of the most sought after biomes. It feels super uncommon, and so having a mesa and having a new cave inside the mesa means you're going to get access to lots and lots of gold. Seriously, gold spawns so frequently here, it is amazing to take advantage of. But if you're trying to make beacons, if you're trying to make anything else, this is a good seed for that. It's also a good seed for having access to a jungle, so 2 really common, really liked biomes right here at spawn. You've got a desert temple, you got a stone beach, and you might even have a stronghold nearby if you're lucky. Well, apparently not. Well, you know what you can enjoy instead is this little Mesa Peaks biome. It's very small, but you know, that's what you have to do with in this, a 7 out of 10 seed. Maybe it's more like a 6 out of 10. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Is this a good seed for you? I'm not sure it's a good seed for me. The fourth seed is unique because you don't spawn by the ocean, it looks like, but you are going to be spawning right in the middle of a jungle. This is a big downside for most players, or it's an upside for others who are really into this biome. The thing that really makes it up to me is if you have a jungle temple nearby, but I do see a ruined portal just over there. I do see access to a savanna just over here, and honestly, there's a village over there too. So you've got your structures covered, you've got your interesting biome that could be deforested later, you've even got access to a lava pit over here. It really does have a lot of very good things to make up for that jungle spawn, and so if you're the sort of person who says, wait, make up for the jungle spawn, then this is a seed that really gets some exciting things going. The only thing that we have to question now is, what does the Nether look like? Okay, it's a cave again. What does the biome actually look like above all of this? Well, apparently nothing above it. Maybe below all of this there's something? Okay, well the answer is, this is a good seed for the overworld. and somehow it is disappointing in the Nether, but that's okay. This might be the best seed we've seen so far, but I would still struggle with giving it more than a 6 out of 10. This next seed is a jungle spawn, but it's a lot more bearable because you spawn directly on top of a tree. Sometimes you'll spawn down there, you know what, reload the seed. But I like that there's stone beach otherwise. It's a very flat biome. It's kind of ugly, so not that great unless you're going to build a city directly on top of it, or cover it in your own grass. You have your own, I'm in survival. That explains why the flying wasn't working. But yeah, looking at this spawn from a distance, you can see it really is quite an interesting one. But the Savannah Mountain, which isn't that far away, is going to be super, super nice, especially since it has a Savannah village. So you've got your trading access, you've got your jungle, which is a rarer type of wood, you've got even access to oak and your birch. So you could get 4 or 5 different types of wood with very little effort. The uniqueness of this seed and the giant stone beach, which is now the flat biome because the plains doesn't work, means I'm going to give this seed a 7 out of 10. I like it. I would like to start a world here, honestly, for the quirky factor. For the 6th seed, you spawn underwater, which could be seen as a good plus. It's also a huge negative depending on the type of player you are. Personally, I like challenging seeds. I like when you spawn in a weird situation, and it looks like this is your first seed where you're not spawning by an ocean. I don't like the biomes that you find all around it though. There is a giant tiger on the hill up there, there is forest otherwise, and it's just a seed that tells you you're gonna have to go climb a mountain. Do you know how fun it is to climb a mountain when you don't have food and you desperately are looking for some? I'll give you a clue, not very fun whatsoever. There is a mega tiger, there is access even to some snowy biomes, so potential igloos if you go that way. This is a certain type of seed that's good for exploration for some sorts of players, but I think if you're that sort of player, this is not the type of seed that you'll be going for. I think loading in a seed is not what you do if you want to explore something like this. You want to type it in randomly, and so I don't really see who this is for. I guess it's for players who want a stronghold 1,200 blocks from spawn, or who want a nether that looks like, you know what, actually, best nether spawn yet. I'm going to bump it up from what would have been a 3 out of 10 seed to a 4 out of 10. Seed number 7 is off to a strong start. It is a savannah spawn, and rather than being a little island, it is one of these giant savannas, like as big as the biome can sprawl. There is a village found in this savannah biome, and as you can see, for whatever reason, it is a plains biome village, which is interesting. It's always fun when villagers spawn in the wrong place. There's also a lava pit here, so this would have been an amazing seed for a speedrun. Honestly, it's not only an amazing seed for a speedrun, it's an amazing seed for if you're willing to build out here, because it doesn't take much to flatten this biome, and then you'll have no rain, you have a fine color of grass, you have mobs spawning for food. This is a really ideal type of seed that's gotten less and less common as they add more biomes, as they add more caves, as they add more hill types, etc. And so the only question now is what happens when you go to the nether? And the answer to that is, ooh, strong is not the word I would use. Interesting is definitely the word I would use, which is a fun counterbalance to the overworld, I guess. So what do I think overall of this seed? This is going to have to get my first 8 out of 10 for the video. I'm a big fan, even if it has some strange imagery found along it. The 8th seed is also going to be a strong savannah biome spawn, because as you can see, it's a big, it's relatively big, I guess, savannah biome. It heads mostly to the east to the west. The water does kind of ruin it. It's going to be something else to flatten. Although, for what it's worth, flattening an ocean or flattening a river biome is also very easy. You just cover the surface in blocks, which you can get from flattening the rest of it. I like that you also have access to 2 villages at spawn. There's one to the south, which is a plains village. There's one over in this direction, on the negative X direction, where you can see there is a savannah village that has gone up a mountain a little bit. There's also a ruined portal right here, but as you can see, when you start combining all this stuff together, you get a really promising seed, and so the only thing we're missing is, what does the nether look like when you spawn up here? And the answer is, I mean, I don't know how it dropped me out there, but it's a really lovely crimson forest biome, except not a very lovely one because you spawn on the edge of it. This would be a rough time in the nether, and so if you care about the nether, we have to bump this seed down to a 7. Otherwise, you could count it as an 8 if you really wanted to. Okay, I think we're onto something now. This is a savannah biome, but it's the better type of savannah, the shattered savannah, where you get a much nicer green, so none of that rain, all of that lovely access to these acacia logs, which is one of the best types of wood, and then also, did you spot that, by the way? You're this close to a ruined portal, which means you immediately spawn with a golden hoe, snow with some iron with a block of obsidian, also a gold block up there. It's a really solid spawn from that perspective. I think as you look around a little bit more, you realize that, okay, you wouldn't go that way. This biome over here is a swamp, which not everyone likes all of the time, but it is a great place to mine for diamonds, amongst other things. And then there's also a plains biome over there, but there is a lovely cave that you can just immediately jump straight into, and that means that I'm sure with just a little bit of effort, you can find yourself some diamonds without going underneath the swamp. Also, an exposed amethyst geode. This is just the first 60 seconds of looking, and I can say this is one of the best seeds we're going to look at today. This is an easy, no questions asked, 9 out of 10. One might logically expect that since the last seed was the 9th and it was a 9 out of 10, that this as the 10th might be a 10 out of 10, but I have some disappointing news for you. This is a sad spawn. You want ocean as an option, but you don't want it to take up most of your direction, and the other direction is just all taiga or forest. You go through the forest, or you go through the forest of the spruce logs. You can see that if you head this way, there's a village, and it has a lava pit, so actually, we might be onto something here. If you just immediately leave the overworld dimension, because it really sucks in this world, you will spawn into also the worst Nether biome, with the second worst Nether biome next to it. This is an amazing seed if you like bad seeds. If you think to yourself, I deserve worse in life, this is the world for you. If you ever driving down the street and you think, man, all these people deserve more than me, play this Minecraft seed, because you, my friend, are a 2 out of 10, and you deserve this 2 out of 10 seed. If it didn't have the village, it could be worse. But since it has the village, I'll give it that point. Our 11th seed is our first snowy spawn. I do have to say, it does have a mystical factor to it. Spawning on top of one of these trees too is nice. This is also probably the fastest way you can freeze to death, because not going to take long till you fall into one of those. And so what do I think overall of this biome? It's perfectly okay. I like the views. I mean, it's forest as far as the eye can see in genuinely every direction. Sure, it might be birch forest and spruce forest and dark oak forest and more spruce and dark oak and then oak over there. But this is a seed that is pretty bad. It's maybe redeemed by the fact that some people like mountains. I mean, it is still the best way to find certain ores, and some people might like the giant pit of lava and the ruin portal found over here. I would give this a 1 for myself. I would say, knowing that there are some people who might get down with this, it might be worth a 2 for them, but this is my personal seed review. This is a 1 out of 10 seed. As beautiful as it is, what are you going to do with that beauty? How can you take advantage of it? Most people cannot. And so what's even the point here? It's funny because Minecraft has such a big algorithm to stop you from spawning in certain places, but you sometimes spawn just facing a block in a really strange way. This is one such example. Love the Shattered Savannah spawn biome. It is one of the best biomes, and spawning in there is such a treat. You know what else is a treat though? Having a swamp biome. There are lots of diamonds to be found under there, and you might find a witch hut, which is a structure some people treasure. Yes, there is a witch hut over there. Having not only a witch hut, but this Shattered Savannah, the ones you flatten or destroy or work with, is going to be nice, but then also having a lava pit so you get that early game access to start working towards the late game. And when it comes to the Nether, their spawn is really, really good actually. Oh yeah. It is a crimson forest all the way around. That's a lot of cooked pork chop. That's a lot of free wood. So overall, I would say this is an 8 out of 10 seed. It is one that is super promising if you're looking for a giant forest to chop down because you need all the wood. You love the Shattered Savannah and the swamp. This is a great seed, but it does leave more to be desired in some places. I hate sand. It's rough, it's coarse, and it gets everywhere. However, I do like the sound of this seed because you can see 2 desert temples already. You can see there's a ruin portal over there, and you can see there's a ruin portal over there, and you can see there's a village over there. Is that a second desert village over here too, actually? No, there is a second desert village. So deserts have 3 structures compared to every other biome's like 1 or 0. If you like deserts, this is the spawn desert seed that is covered in structures. After a while, you might feel like there's too much going on with them, that they're kind of cheating you in a way, and if that's the case, then go ahead, find the nearby mesa. It has this lovely little bowl of red sand right here, and it has a 3rd ruin portal right next to it as well. It's the sort of seed that you wouldn't want to play on too long, but if you wanted a project, this would be the world for you, and it's filled with things to help you along with that project. 8 out of 10, no questions asked. The problem with spawning into a forest biome directly is, like, everyone knows that you need wood to start the game, and it seems like a really solid thing for the first few blocks you mine, but then you realize that they've added wood to plains biomes anyway. There's wood in so many of the biomes. There's even shipwrecks if you happen to spawn in the ocean. A shipwreck in the middle of a vast ocean of nothingness, which doesn't go well for the seed, but if you like a single really well put together shipwreck, there is one right here. Could be a fun draining project if you don't want to start the whole ocean monument. This seed also has a plains biome and a forest and a big cave. That is what you've got on this seed. That is every single selling point I can tell you immediately from spawn. There is very little going on here. If you like endless ocean and spawning in a forest biome, then it might be too late for you to be saved. You might be trapped into a lifetime of everyone else being in boring conversations with you, and you don't even know that you're being boring, and that's okay, because this seed is a 4 out of 10, just like you. This seed is not much better. You're spawning in a birch forest. At least it's got some more variety to the tree heights, and it still feels like a novel biome to a lot of people because it's not the most common thing in the world. If you want to make the biggest birch house that man has ever seen, then this is the place to do it, because you are going to have all of the access to birchwood that anyone's ever going to want. There is a desert and there is a plains biome found just over there, where there is also a village, by the way. There's also this lovely lava pool, which might be the way into the Nether. Is the Nether a place you want to be? The answer to that question is again... Oh, okay, never mind. This was going to be 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10 status. I'm going to say nearby Nether portal is dragging us up, kicking and screaming all the way to a 4. I would say the Nether is acceptable. It might even be interesting. When compared to the overworld, this is the place you want to hang out. Is it good overall? That's a different question. Okay, now this one is fascinating. You genuinely can freeze to death within a few seconds of spawning, and not doing so genuinely is a bit of a struggle. And as you can see, it's not just a bit of snow around spawn, you're in a snowy mess, in a good way. I think this is the ideal version of the snowy spawn, because you have the mountains, you have an ice spikes biome, by the way, one of Minecraft's rarest biomes. When was the last time you saw one of these? But then also, instead of having an ocean, you have a frozen ocean, and this is the easiest way to explore. This is a challenging seed, because even to get a tree, you're gonna have to go some serious distance. If you like the idea of a really different Minecraft survival experience, I think this delivers in troves. And when you do find a village, it'll be Minecraft's rarest village type. Within the seed itself, you're probably not getting too much, but I think it's still going to be an amazing 7 out of 10. There is some really interesting world that you can make from this if you're into interesting experiences. Seed 17, and wow, things are almost legal out here. As you can see, it's amazing because we've got this plains biome, which has a single tree. Like I say, that's all you need in the early game. That gets you everywhere you need to go, and so all of these forests are kind of excessive with that in mind. I think this lovely carving cave that goes right deep down here could be something interesting to explore, but what you can also enjoy, should you really want, is this mountain found over here. What is the benefit of the mountain? Well, it's slightly high up and will give you a good view of the relatively flat area around. But for most people, it's a little bit too bland. And so yeah, 6 out of 10, has a village, has a flat, has everything you should want. Oh, also there's a stronghold below this, okay? You know, we're upping that to a 7 out of 10. This is a good seed for just going and beating some Minecraft. Because now if you want to go to the Nether, you just do it right below this village. Our 18th seed, where you spawn at 063-0, I think the mountain is a little bit interesting. I mean, you could build something up there and kind of look down on people as they spawn in. That might be of benefit to you. You might love the fact that there's flowers up here. You might love the fact that there's other mountains, but you're probably just going to love the fact that this is even flatter than the previous seed. As you can see, there's really just one layer that needs to be removed from a lot of this, and then if you head this way, you realize, okay, and that all goes away. It starts to get a little bit too hilly for liking again, which is fine, I guess. There is a ruin portal. The ruin portal is missing just 4 blocks, if I'm not mistaken, and you get precisely none of those, but you do get a looting 2 sword, which is so handy for going to the Nether, getting more blaze rods, more ender pearls. It's so handy for a lot of things, honestly. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. It is the world's most average seed. There is a type of player for who this is for, but if you are trying to build a city, it does feel like a natural place to do so, just like how most people should consider using the 19th world spawn, where you have a jungle, but guess what? It's the good bit of the jungle. It's the jungle trees. It's access to melons and parrots and ocelots and all the good stuff. It's often said jungle grass is the best color in the game, and you get that amazing grass color without any of the pain that comes along with it. Then you have a plains biome right next door. Then next door to that, you have a savanna biome, which I've mentioned many times before. I think it's fine in terms of terrain. I'm going to give it the opportunity to wow me away. 577 blocks. Now we're really talking, honestly. This is a decent island-style spawn. It's an archipelago. If you like an archipelago, if you're a normal person, though, it's probably more like, oh, wow, yeah, look at that, actually. If you're a normal person, it's more like a, like a 7 out of 10. It's going to have its moments. It's not going to be the best seed by itself, but if you like the idea of connecting a bunch of islands or giving islands to different people, where could you go wrong with this seed? You can't is the answer. Just like how you can't deny that we're on 20 seeds now. They only actually show you a certain subselection of seeds when you type in a blank one. It sounds like they try to get you some form of decently balanced spawn, and in this case, decently balanced means a huge taiga with an old growth taiga or mega taiga right behind it. I mean, at least you've got one of these azalea trees. So yeah, having a lush cave next to spawn might be cool to you. This is an island over here that clearly wasn't sized up for a village. This would be an amazing seed if there was a stronghold below this village. I know there's not, but it's perfectly fine, because what you do get is you get this regular mountain covered in sunflowers right next to an icy mountain, right next to a ruined portal and a stone beach. And so, it would have been pretty bad if it was all spruce and old growth tiger and all that nonsense. But because we have access to the nether, what would you get? You would get this. Oh, yeah, there we go. Now we've gone from uninteresting seed to all the way interesting seed. This is 8 out of 10. Straight into what you want, with all the interesting to potentially build something on it later. Yes. We're on seed 21, and you better believe that I'm having fun, because this is a big old savanna biome. I actually do quite like this. It's got that kind of island vibe to it, so the whole place is one biome. So when you do flatten it, it's going to be very nice. But this also has a ravine. The ravine seems to cut into different caves, which cut into other ravines. The ability to jump down 3 ravines down to the base level is quite amazing. You'll find a lot more diamonds here than you will in a regular one. So that's 2 diamonds here, 3 diamonds there, plus just 2 diamonds over here. Okay, well that's slightly more depressing than I was going for. But still, isn't it amazing you can jump and just get this low, this quickly, find all of this stuff as quickly as you want? If you're looking for a good, challenging experience, then this doesn't provide that. And so this is for the player who just goes, oh, that's different, and they don't think about what they're going for after that. And if you don't like to think, then let me think for you and tell you this is a 4 out of 10 seed. The 22nd seed is a little bit different on the other hand, because it has this same savanna-y feel, but it's half plains, half savanna. It does have the little bit of a fun thing poking out the ocean. I'm presuming if we go far enough that way, we'll find a monument. In fact, why presume when Minecraft gives you handy little commands? If you don't know, /locate, most useful thing in the game for, oh my god, no monument nearby, so none of those dreams of draining anything. Instead, you're going to have to proceed on the land to where, as you can see, there is plains, and there's plains, and there's more plains, but then also it looks like a tiny microbiome, but we have a little bit of mesa just kind of hiding out over here. Also, one of these amazing formations where there is just a gap in the sand. I don't know why deserts do this so often, but there's just a gap in the sand where you get a cave that's basically exposed. And so overall, heck yeah, I'm bumping this up to a 9 out of 10. It came out of nowhere, but I like this seed. The 23rd seed is our first time spawning in a mangrove swamp, but having a mangrove swamp next to a jungle and having both biomes actually be manageable, really, really cool. Look at this. You get birch, you get mangrove, and you get jungle, 3 of the best types of overworld wood right at the spawn, and it's a combination you're not going to find very often at all. We have a big mountain over here, we have a big lake over here, although given that we spawn next to oceans, are big lakes really that necessary? And yeah, the fact that there's more jungle over here, the fact that there's shattered savanna over here, again, another amazing biome, another access to tree, and then there's this huge jungly edge thing where it's jungle without all that pain of just non-stop giant trees, leads to a very unique experience. I feel as though the ocean that all of these seeds are generating next to means it's hard for me to give one a 10 out of 10. Is this also a 9 out of 10? Maybe a bit too much mangrove swamp. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. The 24th seed is a really questionable spawn. It's birch forest. Then we got a beach and a stone beach, but they're both kind of ugly because they're next to each other. You've got this big mountain up here, which has a ruined portal on. It feels like that's way more common to happen on mountains. Maybe you just see it more because it's like visible. And then we've got a plains biome over here. This is a sort of seed that I would just immediately write off. But given that we've had some seeds kind of come back from the edge by giving them their 60 seconds, I think we're going to make sure we give this seed its fullest time. There's a nice ice mountain by spawn. Not often you get ice mountains and water too close together. I mean, it actually is very often. Overall, this seed is perfect for someone who says to themselves, I want to watch 60 separate Minecraft seeds in a video that Toycat's putting several hours into making, and I'm going to find the most mediocre seed. If that's you, this is for you. For everyone else, I would say this is a 3 out of 10. It's like, no, this seed is so bad that it's bad. The 25th seed is a nice quarter of the way to a century. It is the tiniest section of grass on what is otherwise a stone beach, which is great, except where are you going to get your trees? So you swim across, and then what do? Do you swim back to take advantage of the coal in the stone beach? I mean, it is kind of nice that you can get access to valuable ores without having to go underground, but because we're not at the layer of iron, you'll just find coal after coal after coal, and who wants to mine coal with a wooden or stone pickaxe? It's plains, but then it's the ugly type of plains you can't use as a plains biome because it's so not flat. The only benefit is if you go several hundred blocks in the right direction that you would never know from spawn, you eventually find a lava pit. And so I guess I'll give it its chance to say, well, what if the Nether's really amazing? This is like, I would say perfectly fine for a Nether. I would say good even. But do you want this seed, given that this is the best it has to offer? I'm going to say no. And so this is so uninteresting. It gets my first 1 out of 10 of the video. It's time for seed 26. I mean, it can't be anything bad as the last one. I say before looking around and seeing that, oh god, it's my worst nightmare. It's just tiger, 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 tiger. There's also this flower mountain, which could be nice if you're trying to get some scenic views in. The trees do add to the look of Minecraft being naturey. It's just they also make navigation a little bit painful. There is a village, but it doesn't have the most valuable thing about tiger villages, which is a normal number of blacksmith chests. And then if you head this way, you get access to a plains biome, not a flat plains biome, so that's no bueno. The nearest stronghold is 1,700 blocks away, so no going to the end too soon either, but you will get a blacksmith chest from this place, which I do think is a benefit. I think the Plains Village blacksmiths just do have this special place, and also the blacksmith does provide 5 obsidian and some iron, or an iron pickaxe and some iron. So it's a good start to the game. Yeah, this is a 4 out of 10. I'd give it a 4.5 out of 10, but we're not doing half points, just like how this isn't the 26.5 seed. No, this is my 27th seed. I really like when we go in depth and we spend, hours looking at a seed beforehand, like I do for regular Seed Sundays, but I think people have this preference for seeing a lot of seeds and then making up their own mind. So I'm giving you my live reaction to like, oh, it's an igloo, 50% chance it's the terrible igloo with no benefit whatsoever besides a redstone torch and a furnace. If you want a crafting table and a furnace for basically free, this is the seed for you. Otherwise, it is just a seed where you spawn in a snowy plains biome, which is nice for collecting snow. You can make powdered snow, and if you cover this biome in cauldrons, you'll make so much powdered snow. If I was to give this seed a list of compliments, it'd probably go something like this, followed by me saying, I'll give it a 3 out of 10. Maybe, I think 2 out of 10 would be more fair, but the village is making me say, well, at least you can trade. But what can you trade? No, it's going back down to a 2 out of 10. It's only here for if you want to have a snowy spawn so you can trap people in some form of blizzard with a terrible igloo nearby. No thank you. Something that's definitely a yes thank you though is this seed, or no it's not. Oh god, is it? It's a forest island surrounded by ocean for as far as most eyes can see. You do have access to an interesting little cave that you could swim your boat into. Imagine having your base be in here and being like, yeah, you gotta sail through the teeth. Because these really do look like teeth, right? The mountain is suspiciously teeth-like. The village is over there. The mainland is fine, but you're gonna have to make a boat over to it. It does have a village. It does even have a jungle over there, the good type. And so this seed is really bad for you, but then really good if you hate people joining your world and you want them to have a terrible experience where they're stranded, because if you remove all the trees from that main island, now they have to swim so far and they might not even know what direction it is. This is a 6 out of 10 seed if you have multiplayer aspirations. If you don't, it's a 4 out of 10 seed. That is how I'm going to describe this. It's time for seed 29, and we're doing just fine. Even though we're in a birch forest, it's immediately clear there is, in fact, a village over there. That's why you should always be looking, always trying to get the highest view you can in the seed, because something like that might be missed, and if you're speedrunning, which is most of how I look at random seeds, taking advantage of villages is important, and when you've got a village with a ruined portal inside of it, like inside of the house it looks like here, and so you just get a very confusing mess of fire, which is going to cause a lot of, I'm just saying, you could avoid your house burning down like this if you subscribe to IBX Toycat. I'm not even going to start explaining the fact that it's 99% of non-subscribers not being... let's not even explain that. Let's just say, yeah, house fires if you don't subscribe. That's a warning. It's not a threat. It's just a warning. Speaking of warnings and not threats, if you look around the rest of this seed, wow, is this a bunch of lava over here? No, it's a few blocks of lava. It's weird. There's like multiple sources of lava, but not enough to build a portal anywhere near spawn. And so instead, you take advantage of the village. You take advantage of what looks like a good seed, but then doesn't really end up being it. Pretty decent, but not anything more than that. Which is why I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. No, 4 out of 10. I've raised my standards. The 30th seed today is pretty nice looking. Wow, is that a savannah? A shattered savannah, maybe even from spawn? Wow, is that a shipwreck, but way higher up from the sea? Is that a jungle in that direction? Yes, it is. This is the seed that is like the ideal version of giving you choices, but you can see immediately shattered savannah or jungle, both great biomes for the colors of the grass and the colors of the leaves and everything else, honestly. Then we've got some dark oak, we've got some birch. Between those 4 biomes and the oak, you've got 5 of Minecraft's 9 types of wood immediately. So yeah, this is the seed for forests and trees in every direction. I think that has an appeal to a certain type of person, but that's the type of person you don't want at your birthday party. But maybe if there's a mansion, like, super close. Oh, okay. You know what? It's no longer for the type of person you don't want at your birthday party. It's for the type of person you don't want at your birthday party because they don't know that there are seeds with mansions that spawn. I don't have time to actually see it seems. Oh no, our 60-second counter. But it's over there. Oh, there we go. There you can see a woodland mansion. It's pretty nice if you ask me. For the rest of the seed, not so much. 3 out of 10. I might be going into this with too much of a speedrunner's mind, but I am liking the look of what I see so far. I mean, you see this? It's a nice big desert, and then we turn behind and... okay, it's got a nice big savanna biome. You got 2 choices. It's not really much of 2 choices, but it's enough for you to go with. So it's a big desert, but without the usual access to structures you get here, which then makes me question, who is this for then? Who thinks, I want a desert, but I don't want 2 or 3 desert temples or a village or something? The big strength of this seed is it's a desert with a savanna plateau near spawn, and that actually is something to someone. I like that it's got floating islands. Okay, that's actually quite cool, that natural floating islands with no add-ons and stuff, just a cool seed, and then also having a lava pit, a desert well, and a ruined portal, and a village and a mangrove swamp. Okay, and that proves that the first appearance isn't everything. We went straight up from like a 3, 2 out of 10 to like, this is a 7 out of 10 seed. It's really good for certain players, not for everyone, but it's good. Okay, this one is super odd. It is a spawn in water, and so deep in water that you genuinely might not get out in time. Wait, not even might. This is the first seed I've ever seen where I don't think you could survive this inside. You know, actually, there's only one way to know this for sure, right? Okay, I'm swimming. This is with me knowing that the moment I spawn in, I start swimming upwards. Bear in mind that you actually have a few seconds, like, opposite of head start because of the fact that Minecraft, like, spawns you in before it actually gives you control of yourself. You can't swim up before you, before you take damage, but you can swim up here before you die. That is an interesting spawn location. I didn't know it was possible to have a flooded spawn. So it's a really interesting spawn on that level. You might be able to find some way out of this, but I'd be surprised if that was true. And if you want everyone to join your world and just immediately die, you could cover this area in obsidian and just make it a death trap where people die, you get their map repeatedly. I think there's a lot of potential for that. As for the rest of the seed, I don't think we have time left to review it. So this is definitely I would love to pay more attention to this, but I can't. I've got to stick to the format. Another kind of promising looking seed. I mean, you spawn a bit high up, but again, to a lot of players that's great. And I do think to the average survival player, that is a really cool thing because you get to actually like look at the area around you. Every single one of these videos, we go up to the sky because you get a better perspective that way. This is a seed that means you don't need to look up at the perspective, you just kind of see it. Also, not only do you get a nice, it looks like it's flat, but yeah, it's a relatively flat plains biome, but you also get this jungle over here, which is really good for the grass color. So you've got savanna, you've got plains, and you've got jungles. If you like green biomes, as far as like stereotypical building places go, these are the 3, and so good for builders, I'd say. It's got a big cave that you could do something with. It's got 3 types of trees. So for the seed overall, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. It's really good for builders, but I'm not inspired by it or anything. It's just good. Speaking of things that are good, lava pit at spawn. Even if you don't want to go to the nether or you don't like that technique with the lava buckets, just being able to instantly use the best source of fuel in the game. Really, really, really cool. It's also quite cool to have a big old mountain over here if you want to climb it. I think I'd rather spawn on top of the mountain, but it's here. After 1.18, every mountain is frozen or it's one of those types, so this is kind of nice that it's not. It seems as though it is a big old savanna mountain range, so I don't like this as, you know, like someone who's me, but if you are actually relatively new to Minecraft and you want different terrain, I can't think of something more different than the shock that is this. This is definitely the sort of seed you just would not get before Minecraft 1.18 and the latest updates, and so that's pretty cool. That is a big difference. Overall, it's this is also a 6 out of 10. It's good. It's not for everyone, but there is a particular type of player who's really going to get down with this. Oh no, I hate when I see a spruce forest at the spawn. They can go well, but just overwhelmingly they don't. Overwhelmingly, this is the bland type of seed that I'll spend forever running through a forest, and then at the end of that forest, you find snow in that direction, and in this direction, you also find snow. It's kind of nice there's a frozen river here, but even that is too far away for me to say the seed is good for that reason. This is the seed for someone who loves taiga and thinks the only problem is that sometimes it doesn't last very long, but if you're anyone else in the world, you're not gonna like it. I think that means I can only give it a 3 out of 10, but for me, this is a straight, like, I'm not gonna play this seed. It's a 1 out of 10. It doesn't even have a blacksmith in the nearby village. That's the one benefit of these places. This next seed immediately looks like it might be more like it because it's the exact same problem, but at least you're in the snowy plains, which is a picturesque biome in my opinion. It then comes with these lovely frozen rivers. Going for a boat ride down one of these, it's a lot of fun. You know, if you want to see my big hole, here you go, internet. And then as well as being able to see your favorite big hole, you're also not that far away. It was literally within distance from spawn. You could see, wow, what is this? It is a village, a frozen village too, one of the more interesting and rarer types. Also, there's a pillager tower on the hill there. Again, this definitely fits the bill as far as an interesting seed goes. The mountain actually feels like a good fit. This ravine divides between the taiga and the frozen taiga, and so overall, this particular seed is getting a 7 out of 10. I don't think we can go much higher because it is going to be miserable for a lot of long-term issues, but for short-term, interesting stuff, this is a seed you're gonna like. Seed 37 is definitely not sending me to heaven. In fact, it's not sending me anywhere very interesting. It's a plains-ish biome with a forest-ish biome. There's an island over here which might be worthwhile. Gonna have to mark down the seed for having to cross an ocean to get there, but it is kind of cool looking. I like this is OG Minecraft feeling terrain. We're not close to a stronghold, but we have this like super sparse forest. Like seriously, look at this thing, because it's a flower forest, the trees are really far and spread apart. It's kind of interesting in that reason. It's much prettier than other types of forests. We have lava pouring into water, we have a big cave, we have a seed that could have been a straight 0 out of 10, maybe even a 1 out of 10, and which has saved itself into being a 4 out of 10. Because, you know, it's not bad in any way. It's got such a niche market that I really think is going to be no one watching this video. But if that is you, guess what? I found you a seed. I just don't think you should try it out. I don't know what it is with these random seeds and spawning me deep into snowy land. You spawn with your first easy accessible blocks being snow, which you can't really actually do anything with, being ice, because this is the rare, super rare ice spikes biome right at spawn. And then you have only a few trees. Do you see there's one tree on that hill over there? This is actually a challenge seed. But yet we still do have a lot of the features, or the amenities, if you want to be fancy, that you might like on a regular seed. There's a frozen village, and even crazier than any of that, do you see this? This goes to a whole nother level, but there's a shipwreck on top of this thing. This is hilarious. I love this. I think this is a hilarious seed, and I think lapis and this much iron right at the get-go from the spawn makes this a easy 8 out of 10 seed. All of the things you don't have are made up for the cool things that you do have. Heck yeah, I love this seed. Seed 39, and I do have to say, it's looking just fine. A village right ahead is always kind of nice. Having a river between you and it is like less than ideal, given the number of options you have. But you can see you've got a mesa behind, which is super nice. People like mesas. People also love the best structure in the game, the desert well. Then over here, you can see there's a ruined portal. Does this get any better? The answer is, of course, it doesn't get any better. This is perfection in seed form. But no, yeah, more seriously, this is a cool spawn. Your goodies are here. They're just very well hidden. And then if you do go to the Nether, because I think we can just say the overworld's real good. It's nice that there's a stronghold only 1,000 blocks away. But if you go to the Nether, so you spawn super high up with a view of the Nether like this, which is terrifying and intimidating for a, you know, like a seasoned player. But if you are looking for a weird Nether, a different Nether experience, this gives that to you. Easy 8 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned. No questions here whatsoever. The 40th seed is one I kind of like. I mean, we got Savannah, we got Plains, we got Jungle. I look behind me and I see a big old Plains, and I think that could be something over there. I look over here, I see a big old Savannah, and I think, okay, that's cool that you got a lot of the same biome. We got this ugly, like, forest mountain, but what I'm seeing so far is not a seed that yells 10 out of 10. I think if it weren't for the flower forest bringing some variety over here, if it weren't for this jungle temple, which it's so rare, by the way, this is our first jungle temple in 40 seeds, looking around the seeds from a bird's eye point of view. Overall, I think that means we can't give it too poor of a rating. I don't love it. I won't even give it a 7 out of 10. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10 because I'm not inspired by it. It's not a seed I would say is the best for anyone. It's just a seed that if I got, I'd be like, okay, we'll make this work. And if you want to make this work, the 6 out of 10, the seed was on the screen, and hopefully it's in the comments somewhere. One of the things I think people struggle with in Minecraft is what should your survival goal be? But I think new seeds sometimes are people's answer to that, because when you look at a world like this, even though it is relatively simple looking, it still does provide a lot. Just this cave over here, just this lake and this ocean, and then this village that's on a hill, it provides inspiration. I mean, taming a village on a hill is a very different endeavor to otherwise. That whole ocean over there with something poking out of it, it provides opportunities for inspiration, and I think that's what people are often lacking. They don't have the inspiration that this many apples and 2 pieces of bread, you can make a very big apple sandwich. It just doesn't provide the same inspiration, and this seed is decent for that. However, is it an especially a special seed? No, it's a 6 out of 10 seed again, I think. Yeah, and the village makes it kind of nice. Without the village, it'd be bad. But with the village, with the hills, it's fine. On the subject of fine, it does have to be said this next seed has a promising look with its snow fox and its ice over there. Honestly, when it comes to these sorts of seeds, they have one thing going for them, and that is the fact that you can get a boat out and you can ride it and you can have near infinite amount of fun. And here's the thing, you can go for really fun boat rides, but, you know, having to every single person in your world go for a boat ride like this means that it's a really fun temporary seed, but it doesn't have anything else going for it unless you love icebergs. I think that this is a classic example of a seed that is fun for minutes, and then you'll regret choosing for a long time after that. I'm a big believer in the long-term world. Even if you're thinking short-term, and short-term for you doesn't mean till the end of the evening, then this isn't a good seed for you. But more seriously, it's a 2 out of 10, right? It's got not so many great things going for it. Even the stronghold is 1,700 blocks away. If you wanted anything on this seed, you'd get it better elsewhere. You know, 1 out of 10. There you go. This world might be a lot better than 1 out of 10. In fact, it'd be very hard for it not to be. So you spawn on an island. It's got 3 trees on, and some blue flowers, and some cows. And then you've got islands nearby. See, here's the thing. They're just far enough away that they're, like, not an easy swim to get to. You're going to want to make a boat, and the boat's going to be a little bit arduous, because when you can see other islands, Survival Island loses some of its joy, and when the island is this big, it also kind of defeats that point. This is modern 1.19 Survival Island. I could definitely argue that it's great for that reason. Having a little ruin by here is also pretty cool. This is a seed that does have room for expansion, where you can start a survival island and then move on to playing weird and interesting Minecraft if you want to. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's not perfect. It's not even great. It's just, for one type of player, this is so good. And then you can become a different type of player later, which is what's really important in a seed. Our next seed spawns us directly on top of a roof forest, which, honestly, it's never going to seem like a great spawn to me, but I'm willing to be proven wrong, and I'm not proven wrong. So, it's ocean in 3 directions, roof forest in the other, but maybe if we just can get past that. Oh no, it's a roof forest island. Your 2 benefits are there's a ravine here, but not very good ravine. Then we've got a ruined portal here, but the ruined portal also kind of lacking in its output. And so after those 2 things, what do you have? I'm trying to tell you what this seed would be good for. If you wanted Survival Island but you wanted to chop down like 1,000 log blocks first, if you wanted some ugly islands in the distance, if you wanted a whole ocean that is endless seeming, then this is the seed for you. If you have a brain, then this is a 1 out of 10 seed, and you're going to want to move straight on to the next review. When I look at this seed, I tell you that, like, well, you might like it if what you really want in life is a tiger village covered in snow. It's an interesting type of villager. Look at this, weaponsmiths. How often do you see those? Not often outside the tiger villages. So, you know, sure, it is very interesting in its own way. There's a ruined portal over there. There's a snowy tiger village at spawn. They're not that common. It really is like a hard thing to find. You've got your iceberg over here. You've got your plains over there. You've got your, you've got the varieties of frozen biomes that you would need. The only thing you're missing is an ice spikes biome. And if you don't care about rarity, you just want a weird experience, then I can give you this one a recommendation. There are lots of better ones on this list, although I really love the look of this ruined portal in the middle of the ice river. You know what? That brings us up from a 3 to a 4 out of 10, I think. It's a really cool view. So yeah, 4 out of 10 is what I'm going to give this seed. Seed 46 will hopefully give you your fix for a decent world. And honestly, you know what? I do like it. Immediately off the bat, we got some lava, we got some plains. It's not really a flat plains. We got 2 lavas even. We got a village. You can also see it just in the distance there. Was that a village? We got 2 types of village, 2 lava pools. They're good for speedrunning if you're not a speedrunner. Maybe you say, why do I care about those things? Well, this is an interesting village because it's mostly along the hill, but something goes up there. You get what might be the best prize Minecraft has ever given me. It is a mangrove swamp that is not humongous. It's enough mangrove swamp that you'll get all the trees, all the propagals you want, but then the swamp won't take up your life and, cover it in pain and death. And so I'm loving the size of this mangrove swamp. Then we've got a jungle mixing between those, which is, if you're going to have crowded terrain, this is an interesting variety of it. If there is a 10 out of 10 seed today, this is definitely it. I am loving this seed. Okay, I shouldn't have kept going. It's meant to be 60 seconds per seed, but I just had to see, and my god, look at this floating island. I've never seen one be so far above the rest of the world. Yeah, this is nuts. See, sometimes you feel like you're never going to find something good, and then this shows up. Also, there's a ruined portal. 10 out of 10 seed. I have no regrets. Seed 47 might just send you to heaven, and by that I mean a spawn with a pillager outpost looking ominously at you. They're not going to be within your simulation distance, so they're not going to attack you, but it's still a little concerning, and it's made up for by the fact that there is a big hole you could also jump right into. If you don't like all the things I've been saying about, why do I want a village? I want to have to seek out my village or make one from scratch. Why do I want a ruined portal? I want to make my own stuff. If that's you, this might be the right seed. It has mountains, which are great for iron. They're great for coal, as you might know. It has, oh my god, yeah, this is a really interesting 1.18 style seed. It's got massive caves everywhere. It's got an outpost on a hill, and you spawn by a mountain. Is that what I want in a seed? No. Is it what someone wants in a seed? I bet so. And if that is, oh my, it's just so interesting. If that's you, 6 out of 10 for this one, huh? Yeah, this is such an interesting look. This is seed 48, and let's not give it any hate, but you do spawn in a birch forest, which is always an uphill battle. Then you're next to a dark oak forest. I am saying these things like they're objectively bad. Maybe there's someone who wants 3 types of forest by spawn, but it just means there's nowhere to build your house. You have to go straight underground, and that is made slightly easier by this dripstone cave, except even the dripstone cave doesn't go further down. It's just some weird terrain to get you across this forest, which maybe is welcome. Maybe if you want a cave house, you like having all the wood nearby, but even then, I'm not sure you should love it. I'm sure you could just say it's workable with, but given that this is the, we're almost at 50 seeds into this, one of the 47 seeds in this video is better for you than this. I think that this is a 2 out of 10 seed, and I don't know why you would love it more. If I found this during a speedrun, I'd be happy. I'd be able to work with it. But if you're picking a seed, you just shouldn't pick this one. Seed 49, and compared to the last seed, nothing could be a decline. It's the same kind of okay, we're in a snowy forest, seed from before. I like this huge ice river. See, here's the thing. Iceberg biomes seem like they're like this, but they've got all these structures you gotta remove. This is perfectly flat already. But yeah, all you need to do is cover this in ice, or don't. Leave it like a racetrack, and all you have to do is, cordon that off, and boom, you've got a race circuit which you can turn into a fun course. I love that. It's got polar bears. I mean, it had polar bears. It's got rabbits. It's got all your essential sources of food, and then even better than that, you've got a pillager outpost, and that might not sound like a lot, but it's a pillager outpost this close to a village. This is the type of seed that inspires me, and I feel like I want to do this at some point. I'm going to give this seed a 9 out of 10, because for what it is amazing. It is funny that you have to consider the closest tree to spawn, and so having a biome that is usually tree sparse be this close to a tree, actually pretty cool. It has the rare ice spikes biome. What benefit can you get from one of these? The answer is usually like slim to none, except for this seed, where as you can see, there's not only a lava pit here, which would be notable enough by itself in my opinion, there is a ruined portal in the ice spikes biome. And although it's not, complete enough by itself, you're not that far from the rest of the lava, and so you can use this as your base for the Nether, which is such a perfect contrast from the coldest place to the hottest place. I feel like the Nether needs to have rare biomes that make you as excited as the ice spikes, but they don't, and so for now, this is a 8 out of 10. Oh, whoa, that's cool. You go back through the portal. I mean, if you made a portal at those coordinates on the Nether without having made one in the overworld, you'll spawn in a zombie spawner with other side in the... Okay, you know what? 9 out of 10 seed. No questions asked. Seed 51, and you know what? We might just see some sun somewhere on this world. Actually, no. We see a bunch of birch forest. It's made less bad by the river, which you could use to float away from here, but I don't think you should have to float away from your spawn to get away from endless forest. I mean, having a forest is fine. Having endless forest in every direction, it ruins the view. Again, so I'm showing you this from above where it might look cool. If you're looking at this from below, it looks like this. Your whole world, you can't see what's going on. You don't get an idea as to what's happening next. If you hate having a view of the future, this is the seed for you. If you don't hate a view of the future, this is a 2 out of 10 seed that's only saved by the river and the ruin portal, and even those things. At this point, I wouldn't be making do with. I'd be saying this is awful, this is bad, don't try it out, but if you insist, it's 2 out of 10, so you don't have to feel awful about yourself, but you should anyway. You really should. The 52nd seed is incredibly interesting. Wow, what's that? Do you spawn in a forest? Yeah, you do, but it's made up for the ocean, the desert, the miniature mesa. I mean, if you like mesa blocks, you like mesa biomes, but you don't like how big they are, this is the place for you. Then the savanna biome is this weird mountainous version. It's not quite mesa. It's not the ideal mesa, ideal savanna, but it's nice enough. And then over here, what do we see? It's a savanna village, but it's on a hill. I think this is an interesting seed. Will it give you that interesting of a survival experience? Probably if you're not used to all this stuff. Like, look at this river right here with the giant hills on both sides. It would be a cool place to ride a boat and feel like you're in a Minecraft trailer. Personally, I don't think feeling like you're in a Minecraft trailer is the dream, but if it wasn't the dream, it wouldn't be how they made trailers, probably. And so, easy, 5 out of 10. It's exactly neutral. And the mesa biome isn't tiny, by the way. It keeps on going, so... There's a really fun theory out there which posits that actually every single seed in Minecraft is just the same seed but in different locations, because with an infinite number of blocks, they'll all eventually line out to be the same. You'll find something like this in your Minecraft world. If your world was actually infinite, you'd find exactly this somewhere in that world. And so seeds are actually all about the spawn location. And so for a spawn location, you could do worse. You've got like a spooky ghost octopus. I don't even know what this thing is on the hill here. You get more mountains behind that should you want them. But you also get a ruin portal. You get a jungle on a hill. I think this is a prime example of a 6 out of 10 seed. Like you can open it up. You could be interested. Would you get the long-term interest from it? Really depends on if you want to make use of that water or the jungle or the mountains. They're not the ones that inspire me the most for medium term, but maybe this is exactly what you need. Seed 54 is making me want to close the door on all of these seeds. For this type of seed, for a flat, boring biome near the spawn, you could get worse, mostly because of this thing over here. It's a landed ship that I thought I saw out the corner of my eye, but I definitely did. It's apparently a bug they decided to keep as a feature because they like the idea of it so much. It's just kind of fun, right? Also, a bowl of suspicious stew. What effect do you get? You get night vision. So get a few seconds of night vision. I mean, night vision is the most worthless effect to have 7 seconds off, but get a few seconds of night vision going in your game, get some lava going in your game, and get some nice plains that are surrounded by water. Is that for you? Then this is the seed. If it's not, this is a 4 out of 10. Seed 55 makes me feel alive and then immediately kills me with Endless Forest. There's even some water in there, but it's not like close enough to be fun. It's close enough to make you feel like it might be fun, and then it heads off into Endless Forest in the distance. This is the seed made to punish me. There's no structures. There's no interesting things here. There's just wood and ground. And again, from up here, it might look kind of cool. But from down here, it's just, oh, I hope I get out of this forest soon. But you never will. If you play this seed, you'll just have a bad time. If there is a 1 out of 10 seed, if there's a 0 out of 10 seed, it's this. You know what? This seed is so bad, it makes me move the scale. I would prefer to spawn underwater than to spawn in a forest this big. No questions asked. Seed 56, and wow. It's like if someone said, what if you could have all of the forest you wanted, but it could be covered in snow? And then I get to say, yeah, that's exactly what I want. So every direction is terrible. It's Mega Growth Taiga that way. It's regular forest this way. It's this that way. The only thing nice you get is this tiny respite of snowy plains, but it's not actually plains at all. So that's a thing. And then all the way in the distance over here, you can see a little bit more plains. And what does the plains get you in the end? It gets you some mountains, which then get snowy again. So forest and snow combines the two together. I would love to say it's the worst seed yet, but it does have a ruin portal. It is technically variety, and so even though I want to give it a 1 out of 10, I'm gonna have to give it a 2. You know, it's a 1.5 out of 10. This is just out of spite. This gets a 1.5 out of 10. Seed 57 is a kind of interesting one, I guess. I mean, you're spawning on a stone beach, but then you've got the big iceberg biome, you've got the big snowy forest behind you, but I'm thinking that just behind that, oh yeah, here's a plains biome. I mean, you can't do much of it, but it exists. This is the seed that proves that the person who wants so much forest, or even so much snow biome, you can have both those things while still having variety and still having options. Look how much of it you get. It's all the way in those directions, but then if you head in this direction, you get something a little bit more. You get, as you can see, a plains that kind of smooths into another snow biome, but I like that transition. I like the way the ocean kind of blurs into itself, and I like that in the middle of this, there's a ruin portal. Ruin portals are incredibly common, of course, but having one just gives you a little bit more direction in the early game, encourages more players to go to the Nether, and speaking of going to the Nether, this score is not going all the way down because it's a solid 3 out of 10. Seed 58 is something that definitely makes me feel like I've just ate. Wait, that's not even a joke. Okay, I'm going to stick with this anyway, though, because my first impression upon seeing the seed was, wow, that's a lot of ocean, but there is some plains over here. There is a jungle. Oh, okay, that's a forest. There's like a bad jungle over there. There's 3 separate lava pits, it looks like, and then there's a village. See, it's not all so bad. This is the type of seed which I look at and I just say, but you could do better. You could just find this, everything you can find in this seed, it might be an interesting way to arrange them, but you'll find more and you'll find better, you'll find more interesting elsewhere. The only thing I like about this is you do get a blacksmith over there, and this village also is very spread out. It's like ripe for expansion opportunity, because it's also quite flat. Getting 6 obsidian actually is really cool. So, you know, I was thinking whether it's a 2 or a 3, but I'll go up to 4 for the 3 obsidian just over there, because that's kind of nice. So, 3 obsidian, but otherwise, wouldn't give it a try. It is seed 59, and everything's going just fine. We've gone through a lot of seeds today, but I actually have liked the variety. It's weird how there's been a lot of seeds that were similar together, but then you get a seed like this, which actually does feel a bit different. It's a huge plains, but with the odd tree here and there. See, if you wanted a forest so bad, just take this seed and cover it in saplings, okay? A surprising number of seeds we've shown today, the majority, have just been head this way, find an ocean. Head that way, find an ocean. At least this way, the ocean is... Is that a single swamp tree? So not only is there a blacksmith chest, there's a single oh no, that's not a swamp tree, it's okay, I don't know what. My brain saw that as a swamp tree, it's actually some ruins. Would have been more useful if it was a swamp, but that's perfectly fine. And you know what else is perfectly fine? This golem over here. But you know who's not doing great? The blacksmith after you loot him, because his loot, just in case you're curious, is pretty darn nice as well. Yeah, this is a seed that I say actually pretty great for a lot of people. 7 out of 10, build your own forest if you're a forest person. I think the time has come. We're going to load up our 60th seed. Are you ready for this? I mean, mathematically speaking, it's just as likely as any other seed that we load up today to be the best seed of the entire video. However, superstitiously speaking, which as we all know is how these things actually work, this is going to be the best or the worst by a long shot. Oh, I always love when it spawns in. You get a really good distance, and then the mountains come in. That actually is one of my favorite things. You look this way, you got a real nice distance, you can head that way. You head this way, you can see like, okay, things are looking interesting. There's a ruined portal, you immediately have an objective. You also have this nice large plains biome, but still you can see at the edges of it, the forest lovers out there, the 6 of you who are like, I love how there's trees everywhere. You got mountains, those of you who want to climb those. You get a lava pit, which is real nice. Did you see the village over there, by the way? I think there is some houses. Nope, that's just weird terrain. My eyes for structures are worse, but there is also a ruined portal. So there's the hard way to a portal, or the medium way to a portal, as well as the easy way for a portal right over here. Then on top of that, you get endless rolling plains. Honestly, yeah, this is the mono biome for plains. It's not all the way plains, but it's very much mostly that. And so if you want Minecraft where you're not thinking about the biomes, you're not thinking about what you get and the structures, you just want some interesting clean terrain, this might be for you. You only have a ruined portal anywhere close to the spawn. If we look at the stronghold, it's 1690 blocks away. If we look at the mansion, which we can't, it's it's probably much further than that. You've got not much going on besides some pumpkins, besides some lava, and besides some trees. And as we all know, people must love trees or they wouldn't be spawning in so often. It's not even a tiger village that I see over there. Yeah, it really is endless terrain with no structures, which I do think there is a market for that. The market is not me, and so it pains me to do this on the last seed of the day. I think this is a 5 out of 10. And so that brings me to the end of the marathon run of 60 seeds. The reviews themselves might have been a minute each. I suspect there's been some overrun. But it took about just over a minute and a half to load into each of these seeds. And so, you know, this has been like 3 hours of footage. So thank you to Harrison for going with that, putting the seeds on screen. Thank you to anyone who goes through this video and puts the seeds in the down below with any review. Or like, if you put the seed and the review down below, I'll pin your comment. I would love to see that. Thank you to whoever is in the pinned comment spot right now, and thank you to you for watching it. I want to make Seed Sunday bigger and better every week, and I think it's spending 3 hours reviewing seeds I'd never seen before would be that no one had ever seen before would be a cool way to do that this week, and I hope that you all enjoyed that. If you felt like this effort was something you enjoyed and you want to see more Minecraft videos from me, feel like it's earned, maybe it'd be great to subscribe, because as you all know, YouTubers love subscribers. We just hit 1.8 million, but I'd love to work on the road to 2 million. If you'd like to help me on that personal goal, I'd appreciate it. But if you wouldn't, you know what? I don't blame you, and so have a nice day. Goodbye. I only learned recently that parrots, you know how they dance in Minecraft? It's super, super cute. I thought that was a quirky Minecraft thing, but I recently went to a store where they had a macaw or something, and he just danced randomly by himself. He did cute little motions, putting his like feet over his head. You know, I love that parrots dancing is a real life thing that just exists in Minecraft. And just in case you're as stupid as me and you thought like, wait, really? Parrots in Minecraft dancing isn't a cute Minecraft Easter egg? It's a real life thing? Yeah, it's a real life thing. This is less cute than you can see real parrots doing, as you can see on screen right now.